Hey there, what's going on? How's everyone doing? Good? Good. Not good? I'm, genuinely sorry to hear that. If you're doing well, great. If you're not doing well, I hope things get better for you. Um, I'm here today with kind of something a little bit different. Um, I have a collection of what are called conversation starters, just simple ideas and topics that I kind of wanted to just do a ramble about. So I've got a whole list of them here, and I'm just going to kind of go through them and talk, and this will be a very loose, chill kind of thing that we're going to do here. So you can just kind of relax. And this is actually like the fourth time I've tried to get this recorded over the past couple days, because they are doing all kinds of farm work across the street, and the mic just picks up everything. They just got done over the past like half hour moving just a giant boulder across the farm, and it's across the street from me, and it's a heck of a racket. So hopefully we'll be good this time. So this is something that I'm going to do every once in a while, just to kind of be as relaxed as possible, and also just to kind of generate interesting conversation, something that I'm kind of passionate about, thinking in general. So that's kind of what this whole thing's about. If you like this kind of thing, let me know. I will definitely do more. Anyways, I spent some time on the internet looking up, I don't know, interesting topics to talk about, maybe things I hadn't thought of that I might be able to give my opinion on or my spin on, or just ramble about, get off topic, that sort of thing. And found several topics that were pretty heavy. Maybe I'll talk about them later on another one. Things such as like religion, politics, that kind of stuff. Those are in worlds of their own. So I don't think we're going to be touching on those topics too much today. But I did find just a list of very kind of late questions, and I'm probably going to make more of them than I should, and I'm going to ramble on a bit about certain things. But that's what I have here. So the list is just entitled Random Conversation Starters, and these are good questions for when you meet someone new and just throw one or two of them out. All I'm picturing is like my dumbass on a date, and just have the phone in my face reading question by question while she's like, "What?" So don't do that. But some of these will be kind of fun. So I guess we'll just get started. Done talking about nothing, so let's talk about something. What do you do to get rid of stress? It's a good question. Kind of glossing over the questions before I started, the answer to a lot of these questions is video games. Because I like video games a lot, and perhaps I'll do a video on them. I'll touch on it a little bit here, but I think video games is probably one of the best stress relieves that I have. That and like hiking and being outside, but that's not always something you can do. Weather, it's cold, I live in a place where, you can get a few feet of snow, no problem, during the winter. So just choosing to go outside whenever I feel stressed is not always an option. So my primary answer would be video games. A lot of fun. They can be mindless, they can be thought-provoking, whatever I'm feeling that day. That's what I'll do. What is something you are obsessed with? I'd say video games off the bat, but I don't really have an obsession with them. I really enjoy them, and I think they're wonderful, but I'm not, absolutely obsessed with them. I think if there's anything that I'm obsessed with, it's going to sound really deep, but thinking, just in general. Kind of being open-minded, thinking about things differently, thinking about the way other people think of things. The types of shower conversations that you have with yourself about all sorts of deep topics. That sort of thing, I kind of obsess about it on a personal level. I don't really have many people who, I'm able to obsess that much with about that thing, A lot of other people are obsessed with, other things. So, if I'm obsessed about something, it's just thinking in general. I think about it a lot. That's a terrible joke. Who's your favorite entertainer? Comedian, musician, actor? This is tough because they lump comedian, comedy, music, and acting all into one category. And I think that that's not a good question, because all three of them are in different worlds of themselves. So, let me just step through them a little bit. Comedy. I watch a little bit of comedy. I'm not real huge on comedians in terms of sitting down and watching them. I could, but I just don't at the moment. So I'd say probably one of my favorite comedians is Brian Regan. He's a great, clean comedian. I actually went to see him when he came to town last year, and he was fantastic. Musician. Music I could get into a whole nother conversation on, but I listen to a lot of heavy metal music. So, probably one of my favorite bands is All That Remains. They're a heavy metal band. I've seen them in concert. Again, I saw them last year as well. Not at the same place I saw Brian Regan. That would be weird. But, I suppose I enjoy their music a lot, so I guess I'd put them there. And then actor. Here's the thing about me. I don't watch movies. And I know everybody's like, what? No, I don't. I watch very few movies. The last movie that I saw was Star Wars, the new Star Wars movie, because I do follow that. Which I'd better, or else I wouldn't be doing my channel name justice. But I don't really watch movies at all. In my lifetime, totaling up all the movies that I've seen, I'm not talking about just in theaters, I'm talking about total, like every movie I've seen in my lifetime. I would bet it totals probably less than 100. And that includes like all 50 animated Disney films that I've seen. I watched those all the time as a kid. We had all the VHS boxes full of those things. So in terms of favorite actors, I know very little about Hollywood and about actors. And I always kind of get embarrassed. Well, not really embarrassed, but I have a hard time holding a conversation when people are like, oh, did you see this movie? No, it has this guy in it. Who's that? And they look at me like I have two heads, because I honestly don't know. In my previous job a few years ago, I learned who Tom Cruise was. Tom Cruise? Is that his name? Tom Cruise? That sounds right. I guess he's done a lot of movies. I had no idea who he was. So, Tom Cruise. Is that his name? I'm second guessing myself. I think you get the point, though. If Tom Cruise is not an actor, please let me know. Tom Cruise. That seems right. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyways, but movies is... So I'm not saying movies are bad. I would never say that. A lot of people really love watching them and get into them, and they can be very thought-provoking and just wonderful pieces of art. But I have a very, very, very hard time physically sitting still and watching a movie without doing something. I fidget, so, like, that's why I can sit and play video games for, like, 30 straight hours and not have a problem, because it's interactive. And I'm in control, mostly, of what's going on. Movies, I'm not, and I have a very hard time dealing with that, and sitting through it. Not that I'm not in control, like that. Not that doesn't bother me. It's not like that's not the problem, but I can't sit on my ass for that long and just stare at the TV. Like, I'll watch YouTube, but that's, 10-minute videos, aside from, watching ASMR, but that's different. That's, I'll use that to sleep or whatnot, if I'm ever going to watch something like that. But, just general YouTube videos, 5-10 minutes, maybe 15, I can do that. And then choose another one, I can sit through another one, and, if movies are only 10 minutes long, and I know there's a lot of really good short films out there, so I recognize that argument, but, I just have a hard time with movies. I do. So I've seen very few movies. So in terms of a favorite actor, I can't think of one that would be a favorite, because I can't really think of one that I know their work and have seen their work. So I feel like that's probably shocking to some of you, but it's just not a medium that I really enjoy. Because I have a hard time sitting through it, and I get very frustrated just sitting and staring at a TV for a very long period of time without doing something. I have to get up and do something, like, if I have to sit down and watch a movie, I'm up, like, I'm pausing it and getting up, like, 18 times, to do something else for, like, 10-15 minutes, because I need a break. I have a hard time dealing with it personally. So, that's, a very disappointing answer to who my favorite actor is. And I'm sorry if I lose some of you, and some of you never come back. I'll miss you forever. So, anyways, moving on. What's your favorite way to waste time? Again, video games is... Well, I don't know. I'm focusing too much on the term wasting time, because what is a waste of time? If you're genuinely enjoying yourself or enjoying what you're doing, is it a waste? No, I don't think it's a waste at all. So I have a hard time with that question too, because I'm reading too much into it, but in the context that I'm assuming it's talking about, I would just say video games. Do I have any pets? Yes, I have. There were 3 cats that lived with me. One was my sister's, and she moved out, so she took that one with her. So now I have 2 cats living with me. One's my brother's, and the other one was just the family pet. So, cats, I prefer cats over dogs. Not that I don't absolutely love dogs, but it just has to do with the amount of work that they take to sufficiently make them happy, I suppose. A dog, you have to walk, you have to go do stuff for, so that's why I prefer cats over dogs. Not because I think cats are better than dogs, but I just don't have the time for a dog. I don't have the time to own a dog and take care of it properly, that the dog's going to be as happy as it should be. Gotta be honest with myself, I don't. So that's my cats versus dog argument, and it's a personal thing, so I don't believe in that whole argument anyways. It's kind of bogus. Where did you go last weekend? What did you do? I went to work. And I worked. What are you going to do this weekend? This weekend, I'm going to work. Yeah. What is something that is popular now that annoys you? Popular now that annoys me. Gosh. I'm kind of a very individual person. I just kind of focus on myself, and I tend to shut out parts of the world that don't really interest me, so I'm trying to think of what's popular right now that annoys me. I should just Google what is popular. Gosh, I suppose I don't like this question either, because as long as, whatever is popular doesn't hurt other people or, anything negative like that, it doesn't annoy me. So, twerking on the side of the road could be popular right now. But that wouldn't annoy me. Because, whatever. They can do that. Cool. Enjoy. Have a good day. Doesn't bother me. For it to annoy me, it would have to be something that would affect me negatively and affect many people negatively. So, if there was a fad of, throwing a brick at someone as you drove by, that would annoy me if that was popular. But I can't think of anything that's, popular now. I think I know what they're getting at. Maybe people could just say, twerking in general. Do people still twerk now? Is that still a thing? Let me know. I don't know. But people could be like, that's annoying. It's stupid. You should stop doing it. It's dumb. You're sexualizing people, and you're just being a whore and all that. Whatever silly arguments people have. Let them do what they want. Whatever. They're not hurting you. They're not hurting anyone else. They're not even really hurting themselves. Unless they get let's say they're fresh out of hip replacement and they decide to go do that, then maybe you could be like, listen, Samantha, you might want to cool it on the twerking. You just had that hip replaced. Chill. But I don't like that question, so I don't know how to answer it. Sorry. What did you do on your last vacation? So we never went on vacation as a kid. I never got to go on. When I think of a vacation, most people think of going on a cruise or going to Disney World or going to some place not from home. Never got to do that as a kid. I traveled very little, very, very little as a child. Most of my life was spent within 30 miles of home. My family we weren't poor, but we didn't have a lot of money. And my mother spent that money on things that were more important for us kids. Mostly dental work, because we all had just messed up teeth. They just all came in crooked. It was not our fault. Just genetics. So, I've got over 10 grand worth of work in my mouth to have teeth that are straight and aren't falling out. And I have 3 implants in my face, so that's why I didn't go on vacation as a kid. But as an adult, I kind of learned, road trips and that kind of thing. So I've gone on a lot of road trips all over the eastern United States over the past 3 or 4 years. My last vacation, and I posted about this on social media. There's a video on Instagram from it, and a picture too, maybe? I don't know. I know there's a video on Instagram about it, but so I live in New York State, and I heard about it I heard about it through my brother, and he was on Reddit, and he heard about a McDonald's restaurant that still serves pizza. So, back in the late 80s, if I'm correct, I love McDonald's, by the way. McDonald's had something called McPizza, and it went nowhere. And you can still look up the ads on Google. Just search up McPizza and you should see the ads. So it went nowhere. It still exists in like Italy and that, those sort of culturally places, where it makes sense. But nowheres in America did it continue except one location. A place called Pomeroy, Ohio, which is right on the border of West Virginia, split by the Ohio River. They kept their ovens and they still serve pizza at that McDonald's restaurant. He told me about that, and I immediately started planning to go there. Because that's the kind of person I am when I choose a road trip. I choose very obscure places to go, because I love it. I love choosing kind of an irrational vacation destination. So I took a couple days off. Well, I didn't. I'm sorry. I wasn't working at the time. That was a lie. I took a couple days off from days off of not working. So I drove down there, and it was a 8-hour drive. 8-hour drive? 7-hour drive. 7 or 8-hour drive. It's irrelevant. It's fine. So I drove down there to try this pizza, and I know what you're all thinking, like, it sounds disgusting, and I was totally assuming it was going to be really bad. I was expecting to walk in and there'd just be melting slices of pizza, stiff cardboard pizza under heat lamps, and I would just get a slice of that. So I left really early. I left at like 6 in the morning. I got there at like 2 in the afternoon, 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Went straight there. Stopped for gas once and hit the bathroom. So I went in there, and this McDonald's looked like most other McDonald's, except they had 2 counters. One counter was their regular order McDonald's, but you walked around the corner, and they had like a blue tile countertop, and it was like a pizzeria and an ice cream place. So they had a full order ice cream shop and an ice cream bar, and you could order your pizzas from there. And none of the pizza was sitting under heat lamps. Anytime you wanted pizza, they made it fresh for you. So you had the option between getting a family pizza or a personal pizza. So they didn't really do it by the slice. So I got a personal sausage pizza, and they made it for me and had it out in like 10 minutes. And the price was reasonable on these pizzas. Like, it was $3 for a personal pizza, like a little pan pizza. And the family-sized pizza, which is pretty large, was $6. All I have to say is, like, if you ever had the munchies from whatever, marijuana, alcohol, anything, that is a cheap way to get your munchies taken care of. Because the pizza was pretty good. They had pre-done crusts that they just baked up. They put fresh stuff on it, and they baked it fresh, so I gave it a 6 out of 10. And I'm from an area where there's a lot of local pizza joints, like mom and pop pizza joints, so I've had some pretty darn good pizza in my life. And McDonald's pizza was definitely not better than that, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd be giving it like a 2 or a 3. I thought it would just be terrible. But that's where I went. That's what I did. I stopped in Cleveland on the way home, and I did some other stuff. But that was my last vacation. That was this summer, and I gotta figure out something else that I want to do. maybe something over the winter. Maybe I'll drop down to Pennsylvania. I go to Pennsylvania all the time too, because I like it down there. But I'll figure something else out. But that was my last vacation. Are you very active, or do you prefer to just relax in your free time? So, if we're talking about me as a child, I would say 100% sit on my ass in my free time. But now it's like 50-50. Since it's been getting colder out and the weather's kind of been turning because winter is coming, I haven't been getting outside much, so more of it has been video games and that, but I am kind of 50-50 during the summer. I kind of get out more than I relax, so I've got a half and half on that. Depends on what I'm feeling, but sometimes I'll get out and I'll have a full day and I'll come home sweating because I've been hiking all day and stuff, and other times I'll just sit on my butt at home and veg out in front of the PlayStation for 8 hours. Scroll down here. Who was your oldest friend? Where did you meet them? Probably skip that one. I'm not going to talk about close personal friends and disclose any of that information here. What's the best/worst thing about your work or school? I don't go to school right now. I'm looking to go back, so I'm not going to really talk about school, obviously. What's the best thing about my work? People that I work with, I enjoy talking to customers. I work like customer service, face-to-face, sort of thing. So I've always kind of enjoyed that, and I've been told that that's a special thing because customer service sucks, which it really does. It's awful. If you can go your life without working customer service, congratulations, even though I think you should, because it is a good experience to deal with other people and get yelled at over things that aren't your fault and still have to be nice to the person. I could make probably 10 videos on customer service, 10 rambles about customer service, working customer service jobs and what I've learned. But I do enjoy that. I use my sense of humor. I make people laugh, that kind of thing. I enjoy doing that and being kind of a unique presence there. One of the worst things is that I work, it's not a very special job, it's just your standard customer service job, and for certain companies and those jobs, when you have a great work ethic, and I'm not here to toot my own horn, but when you have a good work ethic, and you work really hard, people like you there, but you also get stuck doing all the work, or a lot more of the work than you feel you should be. But you do it anyways because that's just who you are, and it sucks. It's like, why am I like this? Why am I doing this to myself? Why don't I just sit on my ass back there and let somebody else do it? But I don't, And I used to work for a Fortune 500 company, so, I've worked the big business job. I worked there for about 4 years, so I know what office work is like. And I talked about it in my I'm Back for Good video about my previous job a little bit and how I didn't want to work there for the rest of my life because I couldn't see myself sitting in a cubicle for that long. So I quit. And I'm kind of back to doing basic customer service right now just for money's sake, and I'll figure something else out. But it's always a very discouraging thing to be a good worker, and that kind of earns you more work in return. But be principled. Do what you need to do. Have a spine. Don't let them push you around. completely. But, you know, do a good job, be the bigger person. It sucks sometimes, but, you know, you're going to work with people in your life that just suck. And man, are they going to suck. They're going to be bad. They're going to be lazy. They're not going to do what they should do, you know. And it's going to affect you negatively, but you're going to do good, and it's going to make them not have to work as hard later, and you just do your best. Try not to complain. You're in the right, you know, and I tell myself that all the time, because I know. I'm not a schmuck. I know I'm not a schmuck. And I'm not saying everybody I work with at my job is a schmuck, in no way, shape, or form. But I know that you know, you get there in the morning and people are like, oh, thank God you're here. It's nice to hear that, and it's also like, ugh, in the same sense, because it's like, great, what's happened? What do I need to fix? Why couldn't you guys fix it? You know, that sort of thing. Oh, we're behind like an hour's worth of work. Cool. How did it get to this point? Why didn't you guys take care of it? You guys just, oh, well, he's coming in, so we'll let it slide and he can fix it later. That sort of thing. It's like, it's just, it's painful in a sense. But, you know, if you're that kind of person, you're a good person, do what you're doing. But don't let them take advantage, totally, because a lot of companies will. A lot of companies will be, like in my job, they've discussed the idea, and they haven't asked my opinion on it yet, but they've discussed the idea. They're like, oh, hey, maybe we could because you're so good, we can cross-train you to work in another department as well, and you can work, you know, 2 different departments. That would really help us out. And you think they're gonna offer to pay me more? Oh, hell no, they're not. Oh, hell no, they're not. So, if they come to me with that offer, I'm gonna be like, what are you paying me? Well, we can't offer you any more, but then forget it. No, I'm not taking on twice the work. For you know, oh, it'll look really good, you know, for working here in the future. No. Mm-mm. No, you properly treat your employees right. You know, don't, you know, you're just skimping trying to get somebody to work who's competent to do extra work for you for free. So, you know, I'm not bending there if that offer gets thrown my way, which I'm thinking it probably is within the next couple of weeks. So, but, you know, if you're a good worker, be a good worker. Be proud of that. Slight tangent, but that's that. What were you really into when you were a kid? I was a very introverted child. I was the quiet one. You know, I'm a middle child of 3, so I have an older brother and a younger sister. So I was easily occupied. I could occupy myself easily. I remember going over to one of my brother's friends' houses because my brother's friend's mother was watching both of us, and I didn't really know anybody there. My brother was with his friends, but I found a couple Lego pieces. I found 3 Lego pieces sitting in the corner, and I played with them for like an hour and a half. Just fitting them together in every possible combination, seeing how they fit, what can I make out of 3 pieces, that kind of thing. So I was that kind of child who was, I guess, kind of strange in that sense. I was kind of weird. I think I concerned my mother to an extent. But what was I, on a lighter note, what was I really into when I was a kid? Pokemon. Damn, did I love Pokemon. Still do, but I am one of those snubby Gen 1 people. I love my original 151 Pokemon, And once they added more, I was done. I'm like, no, screw it. The story doesn't work anymore. All these other Pokemon could not have existed that we're just discovering about now that somehow existed in other regions that we didn't know about. Like, what? It made no sense to me. They just added them in. Now there's like 600 something, I think. I don't know. I can name very few of the new Pokemon, but you show me any of the original 150 and I'll name it, its weight, everything. I had it down. I had it down. So that, Pokemon cards. I didn't have a lot of Pokemon cards as a kid because, again, we didn't have a lot of money to spend on that kind of stuff, and Pokemon cards are pretty expensive. So I got a couple packs. So I had some Pokemon. I think I had like a shiny Zapdos, and that was like my best card. I had like a foil Zapdos, ultra rare or whatever they call it. I don't know. I think I still have it somewhere. I don't know, in a tin somewhere. I'll have to find it. But Pokemon I was into, I remember, slight segue here, but I remember we had vocabulary tests in school where we had to memorize like the 20 vocabulary words of the week and fit them to their definitions. And my mom expected very high grades out of me. She wanted 90s or above. She was strict on that. But I delivered on that, so. But I remember I got like an 80 on one of the vocabulary quizzes. I missed like 4 of the words. And my mom found out. She saw it, and she gave me a hard time over it. And I remember saying, Mom, that's 20 vocabulary words that I had to, I only had a week to get down. That's a lot. I'm like, that's a lot of words that I don't know in the first place, that I have to know the definitions of. And she just looked at me and she's like, but you can remember all 100 freaking Pokemon there are. And I'm like, damn, she's right. Son of a bitch. This woman's got me. I couldn't argue. I just looked at her and I'm like, valid point. She's like, study more. I'm like, damn it. I thought I had a structured argument in place, and she tore that wall down immediately. Because she knew I knew all them damn Pokemon, and I knew them by heart. And I learned them Pokemon super fast. I learned all of them. I had the games. I knew it. I had them down. And for her to say you can't remember 20 words in a week because you know all 151 Pokemon in like a month is preposterous. And I'm like, yep, you're right. She was right. She was right. She had me. But anyways. If you could have any animal as a pet, what animal would you choose? To answer this question, I'm just going to talk about animals and what animal I would want. Leaving out the condition that I would have to feed them and take care of them and that. Just owning an animal, because I could sit here and ponder forever, because, I could be like, oh, I'd really want a whale as an animal, but I'd have to have a water to put it in. Like, that'd be like crazy too much work. But it'd be cool to own a whale. But a whale is not my answer. I would say any animal as a pet. I would say a red panda. If you ever get the chance and you don't know, just look up red pandas on the internet. They are the most adorable animals ever. They're the best. They're the best. They just run around and they're dopey and they're cute, and I think they're endangered. And I think it's totally illegal to own one because they are endangered. They're only like at zoos and that. You have to have like crazy licensing, but you can't have one as a pet anywheres. But if I could have a red panda, I would totally love that. What do you think? Oh, here's a specific one. What do you think of tattoos? And do you have any? What do I think of tattoos? I think they're pretty freaking awesome. I've known people who have them. I know a few people who have a lot of work done. And it's cool. It's really cool. What people get put on their bodies, and that just from something small on your ankle to a whole back piece. One of my friends has. It's incredible. He's also getting a whole like Super Mario thing done on his sleeve. It's just, it looks awesome. And he loves it, and there's the whole, oh, you're not going to love it when you're older, but there's already people who are older who have tattoos that still, stand for the things that they love, and that, so I don't buy any of that crap. So tattoos are awesome. People who have tattoos, I'm not opposed to them in any way, shape, or form. It's what they want to do. It's great. Do I have any? I have one tattoo. It's on my upper left arm. So it's a really tiny blue dot. It's just like one poke of the needle. I passed out after that. So that's my tattoo. That was a joke. I don't have any tattoos. It's not something that I want for me, personally, but I think they're awesome. So I never say anything bad about tattoos as long as they're not, hateful. Tattoos, displaying, you're free to do whatever you want, but if you're going to put really bad, racist, hateful things, on your forehead or your face, and but you can totally do them. I respect your right to be able to do that, but I might think less of you if you do. I'm going to think less of you if you do. I totally am. No lies. What's your favorite number and why? What the hell? That's a stupid question. They say there are no stupid questions, but your favorite number? What? No, I'm not answering that question. I don't even need to think about it. It's math. I did calculus in college. There are no favorite numbers, okay? What's the most useful thing you own? I would say my PlayStation. And I know this sounds like anybody who's older who's not into video games and they're like, what? That's such a quintessential millennial thing to say. But let me elaborate. Most useful thing that I own. The PlayStation 4, which is what I have, has so much stuff on it, and it includes a computer with the internet. So I was going to say my computer, but I'm going to go with PS4 because it has games on it too. I know computers can have games on them, but I don't have a lot of PC games. So that's what I use to connect with people. I have a lot of friends that I'll play games with online. That's where I vent. That's what I use to reduce stress, like I talked about earlier. And the internet is a huge deal. It gives me access to the entire world of information that is the world. So anything that has the internet immediately, by default, is the most useful thing. Because it's just so important to have that the tool. And again, I can do multiple videos on the internet and what the internet has brought us, and the good and the bad versus the internet, and does the internet really help the generation versus hurt it, and that sort of thing. But that would be the most useful thing that I own. I use it every day, multiple times a day. If I just hop on the internet to watch YouTube or play games or anything, that is it. That is if I didn't have that, well, then it'd just be my computer, which I'm using to record this right now. But I can't, do voice chat. I don't have voice chat links with people over here. I have them on the PlayStation, so that's the most useful thing I own. Have you ever saved an animal's life? How about a person's life? Okay, have I ever saved an animal's life? I mean, you swerve to avoid hitting, the bunny in the road, so technically, yes. But usually when you swerve, you end up hitting the damn thing. So, I mean, technically, yes, but I don't think I've ever, deliberately seen an animal suffering and, done anything to save it. but I've never really deliberately seen an animal like suffering that wasn't already dead. So it's not like I saw an animal suffering and I'm like, meh, who cares? I totally would, but I don't think I have, aside from, swerving to miss that possum driving home at midnight, but that's not really like, that's not really like valiant of me. It's, I don't want to kill I certainly don't want to kill the possum, but, if I kill the possum, I get crap all over my car too, and it's not, it's, I know it sounds rather cruel to say I don't want, and that's why I'm doing it, but, that's also part of why I'm doing it. Of course I want the animal to live. I certainly want the animal to live, but I don't want something bouncing up and hitting the underside of my vehicle. How about a person's life? Yes. Yes. The job that I'm working right now is the same job that I worked before I went to the Fortune 500 company that I worked at. So I went back to my old job, and back then there was somebody a coworker who started choking, and I did perform the Heimlich on them. Of course, there's no way to know if they would have died from choking, because, somebody can choke for a good 2 minutes, and the food will eventually move, because your body is convulsing, and it's trying to move whatever it can. So it's possible that without me intervening, this person would have been okay, but it's also an equally good possibility that they could have died from that. So I did provide the Heimlich on them, and I knew the Heimlich. I worked as a lifeguard. I taught kids how to swim, so I did know the Heimlich as well. So I did have to use it. And it's funny because you think you would feel good after doing it to someone, and I did. You know what I mean? I genuinely felt like I helped. Obviously I helped them, so it's not like I was upset that I had to do it or anything. But nothing about it was a gratifying experience. It was one of the scariest few seconds that just came upon me, in my life. Just all of a sudden, like, holy crap, I'm the only one here who knows this. I hope I don't F this up. Like, holy crap, this person's life is in my hands at this very second. And I put my hands in the right place and started pulling. And this is a smaller person, so I was lifting them kind of lightly off the ground as I was doing so, because I really wanted to make sure I was, getting the pressure where it needed to be. And eventually the food moved. It didn't come out. It ended up going down. They ended up swallowing it, but I was able to nudge it enough that it was able to go down. So they were okay because of that. And the next thing that would have happened is somebody would have ran and grabbed a manager, and, they might have done it on them. I would think the manager should be trained on that sort of thing, but maybe not. I don't know. In the place that I work, probably not. But you would hope they would know something about it. So yes, I have saved somebody's life before, but I would rather I hadn't saved somebody's life before. I'd wish that whole thing never happened and they never choked in the first place, because it was not fun. Not fun at all. This is a very hard experience, because lots of emotions at once, and to see somebody else suffering and completely helpless upon you is a tough thing to go through. So I'd rather it didn't happen, but I did. Let me see. This is a very, very long list, and I think I've been going on for a little less than an hour right now, but we'll do a couple more. Who in your life brings you the most joy? That'd be my brother and sister. It's pretty easy. We're pretty close family, so they're the ones that are closest to me. So Here's a good one. What is the most annoying habit someone can have? And this question could be taken a few different ways. You think of annoying habit as somebody biting their nails or slurping their soup, but suppose I'll take it deeper than that because it's just who I am. Excuse me. The most annoying habit is someone who, I don't know if would it qualify as a habit? Somebody who is very mentally malleable. And that means somebody who you can easily influence. And they just have a very hard time thinking for themselves on anything. I know somebody in specific who is extremely will believe anything that anyone says. She's the kind of person that, and of course I'm not revealing who she is, but she's the kind of person that is just tough to talk to because they'll say things and it's like, do you really believe that? Like what? Did you research that? Well, I heard from Facebook that, this is this, and that's a great, and that means this, and it's like, did you source? Like what? And I think we've dealt a lot with this, especially in America, with anything, especially politics, where people just put stuff up on Facebook and people will just believe everything, and, that's kind of like human nature. There's always going to be a group of people that do that, but when people are extremely they can't think for themselves, they just take everything as fact and they run with it. And also, there's a point where you need to be principled. You need to do your diligence and your research on a subject, before you start spouting off on some straw man argument that you found on Facebook. But when people don't think for themselves, it's beyond ridiculously frustrating. And people who I'm very close friends with, who know me very well, I'm tough on them when it comes to this kind of stuff. They'll talk to me about something or ask me for advice, and they'll be like, what should I do here? And I'm like, well, what do you think you should do? And I'll put them at task. I really will. I'll put them to task. I'll make them think about it. Because I'm not here to give answers, I can give responses based on that, but I'd rather see someone talk themselves through something than having somebody else do all the thinking for them. So if you don't call that a habit, then sorry. But that I would say a habit of not thinking for yourself is extremely frustrating to me, and it's something that I sometimes have a hard time coping with. I'm a very accepting person, and again, not tooting my own horn here, just saying this to make a point. I accept anybody, at face value, generally. If their actions show differently, then of course I will, try to exclude them from my life or speak out against what they do, but I don't know, I just get kind of discouraged when I see people not using their brains, not thinking things through, just accepting anything they hear from anybody. Just some stranger on the internet could tell them something and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, I guess I'm wrong, or whatever. You look at that and you're just like, be strong. You can be influenced by information and still be principled, You can have a stance on something and stick to your roots on something. And be willing to change your thoughts if new information presents itself, factual information comes forward. But if somebody decides to throw some nuanced BS argument at you through a meme on Facebook, and you decide to change your mind because why? No new facts have been presented that support their argument, so I don't know why you're changing your mind. I don't know. Again, I'm kind of rambling about it, but I think that's one of the things that frustrates me the most in life, is people who don't think for themselves. So, let's not end on a frustrating note, on a note of something that's frustrating. So let me find a fun one. Give me a minute here. A lot of these questions have similar answers from what I've already talked about, so what do you fear is hiding in the dark? I don't know. Dirty laundry? What smell brings back great memories? Gosh, I don't know. Trying to find something that's interesting and not really that deep to finishing things up here. What are some strange beliefs that some people have? So, I'm a very factual person. I'm a person of science. I believe in evidence and facts and those sort of things, obviously. Some things that people believe in, and I want to make it very clear, but I'm going to be making fun of these people a little bit, just for sake of conversation, but I have no problem with these people. And they're free to believe whatever they would like. Again, and I'm not going to get into religion too much here, but believe whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Great. Wonderful. But what are some strange beliefs that some people have? What is the deal with these people who, I don't know if there's a religious term for it, but people who believe in the zodiac and the horoscopes? What are you doing? I just don't. And it's funny because you see them and they read their horoscope every day, and some people just share a horoscope going, hey, this kind of applies to me, funny, whatever, you know what I mean? There's a very light take on it that I feel like most people have, but there are people who are very like, oh, hey, you're really cool, oh, I really like you, oh my god, you're a Virgo? Never mind. I never want to talk to you again. What the hell? Like, are you serious? Well, Virgos and Scorpios don't get along, and I don't know if that's accurate or not, but whatever. None of it's, I feel accurate, but like, there are people who really deep down believe in this, and I mean, I could say the same thing about other religions too, because I'm atheist. But this in its own self is just kind of funny to me, because of the way it's presented. If you ever read a horoscope, keep one thing in mind. The horoscope that you're reading, people are like, oh, this totally applies to me, so it must be true. The damn thing applies to everyone. Why the hell do you think you feel like it makes sense 100% of the time? It's because it applies to everyone. It's written to apply to everyone. You know, they have all these memes on Facebook where they're like, oh, you know, I'm a good worker and a supportive person, and I'm not afraid to smile. And it's like, oh, Libra, Scorpio, Aries, and people are like, yeah, that's totally me. Like, that's everyone. Everybody thinks they're a good worker. Everyone, you know, would like to smile. Everyone, like, what is wrong with you? And again, no problem with anybody that believes that stuff, but I just look at that whole mentality and it's like, you realize that you're being played, right? Like, all this stuff is just nuanced bull. It applies to everyone. Everything, like, these are all positive things that they write. And they might write like, oh, you know, sometimes life gets hard, and it's like it's life advice for everyone. It's just nuanced bull. It's just crap. And I find it so funny when people will make decisions and make big decisions in their life based on their horoscope, and it's like you realize that, you know, there's billions of people on this planet. Your sign that you're saying applies to approximately one, well, I don't know how many signs there are, 10% of the whole world. And, you know, I could probably go on Facebook or the internet and find contradictions of everything, you know, especially the dating ones. The dating ones get me. Oh, these people are great kissers. These people are really great in bed. These people, but then I can find ones that are like, oh no, these people are really great in bed. And these people are. It's like, what the heck? What? And it's just, I love sometimes going on and reading some of it because I just laugh. I just laugh because, and that's kind of where the free thinking comes in from the previous thing. And I know I said I was done with that, but just bear with me. Where that comes in, where it's like, if you think for 4 seconds, what would my neighbor agree with this? Would my best friend agree with this? Would my mom think this applies to her? Yeah, everybody who reads it thinks it applies to them, because it's all positive stuff. Now, if I opened a horoscope and it said, you are going to die tomorrow, and I died tomorrow, and that was always right, then that's a little different. And that's kind of scary realistic, and I might be, you know, if there was fact behind it, you know, if they made some factual predictions, not just like, good times are coming, look to the future, spend time with friends, like, no shit. But that's, I think that whole horoscope thing is rather strange. And there's a chart on the internet that just says all the astrological signs, and it has the prediction for them next to it, and every single one says the stars will affect your life in no way whatsoever. So, it's my little rant on that. I could go on, but I've been going on about random things for about the past hour, so I hope everyone's enjoyed. Let me know if you want to see me do more of these. I could probably do these more frequently, because I don't actually have any setup for these. You know, I can just turn on the mic and record these. It's been a real busy week at work this week, so I haven't had a lot of time to set up anything for another video this week. So, but I have something. I'll figure something out for next week. Something. I might have a role play. Might do another Tingles video. I'm not sure. But I'll have something. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, just let me know if you want to do more of these. I'd be happy to. And I'll probably in the future do some more structured things where I talk about specific topics, you know, at length, because people are interested to hear other people and what they think and how they feel. And I for one, love to hear what other people think and feel, even if I don't agree with it. I love hearing people talking about their passions. It's one of my greatest joys in life, and I hope you enjoy hearing that too. So, till next time, good seeing you. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.